to our continuing coverage of the masterpiece that is Hot Frosty.
So they get to, Kathy is going to take him in. She brings Jack to her house, okay? And she's like, well, I don't know what to do with this person, but I'm going to do what I've heard parents do, which is stick him in front of the TV.
Beat him.
So she puts him in front of the TV. She turns on the TV, and she's flipping through. And this is where she puts on, I think this was the Falling for...
This is Falling for Christmas, yeah.
And she says, I think I went to high school with this girl. Now, I'm going to be... This is totally honest, what I'm telling you right now. This is not me trying to go back to like a callback to all this Lauren Holly shit. But at this point, in my mind, I'm watching this movie, and I see that Lauren Holly is high in the credits. So I know that Lauren Holly, in my mind, is going to be playing a big role. I'm waiting for Lauren Holly to come on. And for some reason, out of context, the TV's sort of small. I did not realize that this was Lindsay Lohan. I thought it was Lauren Holly because of the red hair, and it was sort of far away, and there was fillers. And I was like, I thought when she said that reminds me of a girl from I went to high school with, I thought they were setting up a plot point that there was going to be this evil girl played by Lauren Holly. And I was like, are they going to have Lacey Chabert and Lauren Holly actually play like they went to high school together? And then I looked it up. I saw Lauren Holly is 61, Lacey Chabert is 42. I was like, the balls of this movie that they're going to say that these two people who are 20 years apart are going to be classmates, and she's going to come back in and be the villain. I went down this whole path where I literally thought this was going to happen.
It was much simpler.
Like 10 more minutes of the movie. I was waiting
that would have been
high school friend to come in, and I was like,
that would have been so much more interesting.
I totally agree.
I wish it would have happened.
Like I literally, until Lauren Holly appeared, until she appeared later, I literally thought this was happening. And then when I saw that she was not the high school friend, I was like, wait a second. No. I went back and I was like, oh, it was Lindsay Lohan.
Oh,
Lindsay.
Poor Lindsay. Oh, wasn't that just last year? It's like,
Oh, poor Lindsay.
It's me, Christmas. I don't know who I am.
No, she's got another one this year, I think.
That was 5 years ago or 4 years ago. But but yeah, she was like, I'm back.
It's me, Lindsay. But do.
I forget. Oh, the next one I think is called Our Little Secret. It's the one with Kristen Chenoweth. She's doing
Isn't
great.
it like a War of the Roses type thing where
she
it's
dated
about exes who hate each other?
She dated a guy, and he's there at Christmas or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh my God, I love Kristen Chenoweth so much. Okay.
Yeah.
So Kathy, so they moved to a cooking show, and Jack is like, "This is what you do," and she's like, "Oh, you mean cooking? Yeah, I thought you meant crying and falling downstairs." But
being miserable.
My husband and I opened the diner. It was going to be called Kathy and Chris, but I really hated him at the time. So I didn't love him until he died. Isn't that fucked up? Anyway, do you want some pie?
She says, I used to help the chef out all the time. I even wrote some recipes. There was this really great one for sweet potato casserole. And I'm like, we all know what this is. This is sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top. That's it.
She's trying to steal Patti LaBelle's bullshit, and she's not going to work.
And guess what? It's
sweet potato pie.
and it's never brought up again.
She doesn't. They literally cook a pizza. Why doesn't she teach him how to make the sweet potato casserole?
She doesn't even serve it to Chriselle's daughter.
This movie is nothing but it's just nothing but a dick tease the entire time.
No, it's like ideas with wearing a condom. It's all these ideas that just never came to fruition.
It's just remnants from previous drafts, and no one decided to clean.
You know what?
Like,
exactly.
Draft one.
No one went by and chose it.
Yeah. There was a mayor in one draft. They're gone, but they still get
they're gone.
And when the actors say these lines, no one says, "Oh, we forgot to take that out." They say, "Just go with it."
We don't have time. We could make this movie in 4 days.
Yeah, but you're right. It should have been like, oh my gosh, you know what? You like cooking videos? This is funny because I made a YouTube one time of myself making the sweet potato casserole that my husband loved. And then he becomes an expert at it, and they sell 9 million of them. And then they have the bail when he needs to get out. Like, oh my God, I forgot I had all this money in my Venmo from those sweet potato pies I was selling for the poor children.
Literally anything.
Thank you.
So she's just like, okay, well, here's the TV. You learn about life here. And Jack is like, thanks. I'm so excited to be here. I love this house. And I love you. She's like, you know what? You have to stop, okay? You don't love me, okay? Because, you may like a house or a soup. Those are things. That's fine. But when you love a person, you can't love a person the way you love a soup or a house. Okay. It means more to love a person unless it's a really good soup, which I used to be able to do, but I can't because I'm mourning. Anyway,
Because I'm unhappy now.
you can't just go around telling people you love them.
for soup.
Yeah.
You don't understand the way you could toy with people's hearts. You know, one day you're a snowman, next day you're a hunk. You just can't tease a girl like that.
Yeah, I had someone who broke up with me one time because I said I loved you to too many people, and I was like, "What's wrong with that? Just saying I love you to people?" And he was like, "No, it's very serious when you say." I was like, "It's not to me. It's like I do love the people, but I don't like." I don't know. I don't like that. I think
oh my God! I tell my dentist
I love you to people.
I tell my dentist I love them when I leave.
Listen, it's one thing to say I love you when you're. First of all, gay men can say I love you to anything, and it always works. Okay, but one time,
except each other, God forbid.
No, that's not possible.
That's true. If I say it to Poodle ever, he just immediately becomes like an iceman, like a snowman, just frozen.
Yeah, we can't say it to each other.
Makes me think you want something from me.
Well, believe me, I don't.
I say I love people to who I love. I don't say I love you to people I don't love.
Yeah.
I once was invited out to brunch by this girl, and I had met her like the day before at a party, and we hit it off, and it was great. And she was like, "Do you want to come to brunch?" And I was like, "Sure, this is kind of fun." Like a person I just met yesterday, I'm going to brunch with her tomorrow. And I went, and it was like all these people, it's like 10 people, it's a big party, and just had the best time. And then at the end of the brunch, she goes, "Ben, I love you." And I thought, like, this is sort of weird. I just met this girl yesterday to be like already saying I love you to someone new. But I was like, I'm going to go with that. I was like, you know what, Lindsay, I love you too. You're great. She's like, thanks. And then the waiter came by. I was like, well, here's your bill. And she literally turns to the waiter and goes, "Can I just say, I love you?" And I was like, "Excuse me."
What? She told the waiter they loved him?
The waiter, she loved him. I was like, on the heels of telling me. I was like, okay, well, then you said it too much.
And it means nothing.
Yeah. That's okay. Well, that's a little different.
That's a good example. But this,
yeah, maybe it is a good example. But you know what? If I was that waiter, I'd have been like, "What a crazy bitch!" But God, that maybe I am lovable.
Do you still think she thinks he's a drifter at this point? I just wonder where. I also questioned where in the movie where she believed he was a snowman.
She right now is she feels like he's troubled, but that he's benign. Okay. Not that the script says that, but I think that's what we have to.
I think she had to make a lot of choices for herself in this.
So he's like, "It's so hot in here. Can we change this?" So she unplugs the heater, even though it's like negative.
She's freezing. Yeah,
house. She's freezing, but she's like, "Whatever." And then he's like, "Kathy, I still don't understand how all this is happening, but I'm glad that you're the one who found me. Thank you." And she's like, "You're welcome. I'm going to report you to social services tomorrow."
Right.
You're welcome.
So the sheriff shows up again. Thank God.
Talking about this, there is no arc to this movie. It's like just a ping pong ball.
Something I marked was the I was like, when does the journey of this start? When does the actions, when were the stakes and the kind of the action, the big thing that's going to happen? And for a minute I thought it was the ice sculptures or the snow sculptures,
the competition that this movie is based
I think this movie should be called a Christmas edging, because that's just what it was. Just an hour and a half of edging and nobody did anything else at the end.
And so the sheriff is still just talking about gotta find the streaker. So what they've done, I guarantee you, Craig Robinson probably left 3 hours more footage on the floor of these little monologues. And they just kept putting them where they needed to not make tedious things happen. And
well, I'll tell you something else. You can also love soup, Kathy. And you can also love inanimate objects or pets.
Yes.
Kathy. Sorry, Jake. Go ahead.
That's what's
I've got a stick in my craw with Kat.
If she was a real cook, she would have made him a gazpacho.
No, she's mourning. She's mourning. She's not touching. She's not doing that. She's just handing food to people, but she's not creating.
She makes turkey sandwiches. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So she goes back to her cafe. The sheriff comes around and is like, "I heard that we had a strange man on the prowl." And then the deputy is like, "Yeah, they went streaking in front of poor Ethel Jennings. I've never seen her so horned up in my life. She's walking around in a bra right now." And we're all just kidding, quite frankly.
She's been playing with herself for 3 days straight.
Yeah, Ethel's okay. She has been put in the clink. She won't stop loving herself in public.
So she's just her rubbing up on the prison bar.
She's just rubbing her. She's just rubbing her crotch on a chair at this point,
like an inappropriate, horny 8-year-old who doesn't know not
with
to
a
do
stuffed
that in public.
animal.
Yeah,
we had to scrape her off of a light pole in the middle of downtown. So yeah,
we had a girl growing up. I remember what was her name. Her name was Tawny. Tawny. It was like Mikhail or something. Yes. But no. She would we'd just be at a baseball game and she just would be rubbing herself up like on the baseball. She was old enough to know better. She'd just be rubbing herself on like a bench. You're trying to talk to her and she's just basically just trying to. It was very inappropriate.
Yeah, no kidding. What the hell
was weird
going on over there? That is weird.
I don't know.
Why didn't anybody just go smack her? You know, sometimes it's okay to just smack a child and say, no, stop it. I'm your village, you know? That's what I tell my nieces when they're like, you're not my mother. I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm your village and you have to listen to me. I'm attached to me.
So Sheriff Hunter says, guys, this strange person who's on the prowl broke into reclaimed rags, which, by the way, maybe work on that branding a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Rags. What about reclaimed whimsy, like the one near Ronnie's house?
Reclaimed whimsy.
Yes.
So they're like, he's like, look, it's a blatant disrespect for law and order, and this is terrible, and it needs to stop. So meanwhile, everyone's like, okay, sure. So then we go back. Meanwhile, at Kathy's house, Jack is watching TV and he's learning everything about life. So first he's watching a cooking show, and we know he's going to cook something amazing because he's like mimicking how to like make a pizza on the coffee table. So we know that's going to come. We know like an amazing Jack pizza is coming up soon.
Can I ask a question of being a snowman, what qualification of snowman makes you be able to replicate everything you see?
Yeah,
like super smart
magic.
Yeah, it's like his magic of just being super smart, which is so weird because he was just trying to eat a thermometer, as you pointed out. So I'm not really sure, but it's like they're brilliant. It's just like savants, I guess.
If your mind is made of ice and you're very sharp, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where a superpower comes from. Like, how do you it usually needs to come for some specific reason, and it just doesn't. It's just he can do everything.
You know what? Really he got Edward Scissorhands.
But he had scissor hands, so he was really good. Like that was the specific. He had scissor hands.
His whole life. He was training his whole life too. In that castle.
Yeah. Keep going. I'm sorry. It really.
Yeah, but this one he was really good at things for like 10 minutes, and then they never went back to that either. He was good at this, and then he was good at fixing things, and then that was it.
Yeah, he just would learn things off of TV. And by the way, TV tutorials are terrible. First of all, also there's no cooking shows on TV left anymore. Food. If he was watching the Food Network, he would have been watching Guy Fieri doing like the grocery.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. He'd be like, "Bam! Oh, I just made pasta sauce out of jarred pasta sauce." Like, what? I
just had some mayo, chili lime, habanero poppers.
It just says something terribly offensive. Like, Paula Deen, don't watch Paula Deen. Where did you even find that rerun?
So now he's watching like Nosferatu or like Dracula.
Learning about,
and he's scared.
Yeah.
So how does he know? I guess he learned in Dracula. Is that where he learned that a cross scares them?
Yes.
He's holding a cross. And this guy's like, this is my big physical comedy moment.
Yeah.
He is like everywhere looking crosses.
Dustin Milligan's like, guys, just roll the camera. I'm just going to try some stuff.
I'm going to do this for like 20 minutes. Yeah. I'll pay everyone extra for their overtime. This is going to go in my reel later.
Craig Robinson. He's like, yes. Well, Craig can do it, so I can do it too. I'm going to do some really good like physical stuff. Like there's a vampire on screen. This is
the part where I was a little bit like, this feels a little bad. It was a little clunky.
He later on is in the
we discovers the basement.
Later on, wait, hold on a second. It's not later on. This is why
it's 10 minutes later.
Because this discovery, the reason the vampire movie is what causes the discovery here, which is that he goes into the basement looking for vampires because of what he saw on TV. And instead, he finds a document that says that Kathy's husband needed chemotherapy at some point in his life.
As the doctor said, The doctor said, "Yeah, his blood wasn't doing good," and that was the diagnosis.
And Comic Sans.
Her Comic Sans followed by an emoji.
His cells, his cells weren't great, and lots of question marks.
Oh gosh, just so much wackiness. LOL.
LOL. So funny.
The strangest part to me was when there was a note from the husband to Kathy saying it's not looking good for me. So it's one of the last things I'm gonna go to Washington D.C. on January 6th. Wish me luck. I was like, wow.
Wow. Gonna go out with a bang.
Oh boy.
Jeez.
Boy.
Don't tread on me. But there was this one thing where
yes, and this actually all is just a fever dream because Lacey Chabert, the snowman's not real. She wakes up at the end and she just had a reaction to her COVID booster. That's what it is. It killed her.
Exactly.
Oh God.
I told you. And did you notice that these were also more horribly photoshopped pictures of them?
These were egregious.
I saw the Canva logo and I thought maybe they should have edited that.
Yeah. It was quite bad. She comes back after this, and he's going through all the medical. He's looking at that, and where does he ask? He's got on an apron, rolling pins, and she's got clothes. And of course, she says, "Oh, great clothes!" and starts to take off his clothes, even though he knew he needed to wear clothes before.
Didn't he pick that up on TV? Like he learned about vampires and cooking.
Maybe,
did he not learn
and
about
modesty.
Clothing? Modesty.
But the thing is, but the first thing he knew he needed clothes. So that's the thing. He knew about, it's like the Bible. He knew he was naked. So he immediately, so it's weird that he has.
God, we need to be deprogrammed. The both of us, you and I both are sick with this Bible shit. I do this all day too.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the Bible. I need to stop.
We need
to get some help. It's a sickness. We've been brainwashed, you know? And then whenever we start talking about something like Scientology or Mormonism, I'm like, fucking cults. And then I'm like, well, let me tell you what
like,
Jesus would have done.
It is. Yeah. Go ahead.
So he basically tries to undress. She's like, no. Like you don't do that in front of me, etc. So he's like, by the way, I have something to show you in the kitchen. And she's like, okay. By the way, before you show me that first night that you said of your life, were you wearing clothes? And he's like, yeah, no, I had the scarf you gave me, but that's basically it. And she goes, oh no, did you streak past old Mortimer Jennings? And he's like, streak? She goes, yeah. Did you run by with no pants? He's like, listen, I've got something to show you in the kitchen. Yeah. One more of the questions you have to ask me.
And then she said, did you steal the clothes? And again, he knows what stealing is.
He doesn't say what's stealing, which would have been adorable. But he goes, she's like, well, honey, there's a capitalism, and here's how capitalism works. We have these things, and there are people who have them and people who don't. But he says, yeah, I did steal.
And yeah, I did steal, and I'm gonna get fined on my taxes because I don't have Obamacare. He learned about a lot watching television.
Oh my gosh. He's like, wait a minute, why was our medical bill from Dottie $19,000? Dottie. Yeah, the most unbelievable part of this is just that he was about to take off his clothes, and she was like, no, please don't.
I know.
Stop teaching him the wrong things. I mean, for Christ's sake, let the man do his job.
Him being naked with that scarf the whole time. I would mandate.
Does he have any dick pics on that doc site or whatever it's called?
I'm not going back on there again because I just felt downright unprofessional. I mean, I did that, and then suddenly my whole computer screen was full of dicks. And I was like, well, should I keep doing this, or should I just pull what's that guy's name? A Tubin.
I don't think Jeffrey Tubin. Just jerking off there in a Zoom meeting.
No, I wouldn't do that. I barely do that alone.
Same.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
So Kathy's basically like, listen, you have to keep off of the sheriff's radar. And he's like, oh my God, I'm on the radar. So she's like, yeah, you need to lay low. So Kathy's decided that she's okay being like an accessory to this criminal.
Yeah,
She's okay with kidnapping, by the way, because she's just like, just stay here all day. I'm like, Kathy, you've just kidnapped this man.
I think she secretly fucking hates Mel because Mel gives her shitty clothes all the time and shames her for her fashion.
Yeah.
That scarf is just it's a litany of just many things she's received.
Yeah, they're
like,
trying to
here,
be like, let's help her. Maybe if she can get some better fashion at least. Here's a scarf, honey. Maybe this will help.
Honey, I got you a cheetah cardigan. Just wear this, please, honey.
Is it Rivera? I'll take it. If it's the animal print, you can go fuck yourself. How about that?
Kathy's like, okay, well, thanks for this ugly ass scarf. Here, I got you a sandwich with no mayo with the driest cold cut of all, turkey.
I know.
Yeah. So he's making a pizza brilliantly because he learned it from the TV and stuff. And so she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, I can finally fire the only person that's taken care of me for the last year. That motherfucker.
He's making eggnog, which eggnog and pizza sound disgusting together.
Oh my God, they sound like my dream. I did not know that eggnog was literal eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Why doesn't anybody die from that? How are people dying from gluten, but then people feed their children raw eggs all season and nobody dies from that?
I think they're cooked though. I think eggnog the eggs are cooked though.
Maybe.
Oh.
Well, I think I think that like in proper eggnog, I think it's
they're not supposed to be cooked. Huh.
Now, proper eggnog is like whatever to me, but store-bought eggnog, like the stuff that comes in that carton, that thick, heavy cream laced with nutmeg.
You like
don't like it or you do like
I
it?
love it.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh my
love
God,
it.
do I love it.
I don't like
I
to
ate it.
my alcohol.
I ate an eggnog ice cream the other day from Salt and Straw.
That could be good. That could be good,
It's
actually.
eggnog ice cream with Christmas cookies in it. It is
That could be good.
delicious.
That could be good. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
by the way, speaking of all this food stuff, this is when the movie does start to feel like a Nancy Meyers movie. Because like all of a sudden we have like soft lighting, we're in a kitchen, we're getting close-ups of all this
Well,
food.
Nancy Myers did get boners over cooking. She loved that. She loved some cooking, Nancy Myers.
She's
loved it,
dead,
like-
right?
yeah,
No,
she's dead.
that's- no. Nancy Myers is alive.
she's alive?
It's Nora Ephron who died.
No, that's one. Thank you.
Oh, damn it.
Well,
I'm sorry. I don't know why I sounded disappointed. I mean, I'm disappointed that Nora Ephron passed.
She's
hoping
not
Nancy
long.
Myers
She's
would-
not going to live long for us because
Yeah.
that's what we do. When we mention someone on our podcast, they usually die pretty soon.
This has
after
happened
that.
to us
Nancy
at least
Myers,
10
it was
times.
good knowing you.
Nice knowing you.
Sorry about that.
It's
Oh,
coming.
fuck, too. She's 74. Fuck.
This world is fucked enough. Don't take Nancy Myers. And
you need to-
74 is nothing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but it is she
Sure.
she loves I always think about
Asshole.
that scene in It's Complicated where Meryl Streep like quote unquote makes a chocolate croissant.
I will never forget that scene. That was the best scene ever. When she's like, "You want to come to my bakery and I'll make you a chocolate croissant from scratch?"
Chocolate croissant takes like 4 hours to make, but she's like,
I don't care. I'm still in love with Meryl Streep. Like, that was such a good romantic movie. I'm in love with her. I'm like, God, that's the lady who made that croissant. She could do Sophie's Choice. She could do whatever she wants in whatever accent. I don't even remember. But
You're like,
that
I just
making that
loved It's
chocolate croissant,
Complicated.
oh my God, do your own stunts, girl. You go.
She's great. I loved her in Murders.
I was just gonna go back to the kitchen scene because I already can tell if we start talking about Meryl Streep, it's over.
Yeah, go back. Take
I
us
was
back.
trying-
Okay,
I was
we're
trying
good.
to go on.
Meryl Streep. So Kathy is like, she's having a moment, an existential crisis, because she's like, I mean, your nog, it's fantastic nog, but you're
I
standing
was
here in my
grossed out
kitchen.
by it.
I felt like
I
she
just-
didn't even compliment his nog. He made a perfect fucking literal eggnog. And she's like, I mean, God. And he's like, is it bad? And she goes, it's fine. It's great. Girl, the man just made a perfect eggnog.
No, she
Blow
says,
him. Like, do something. Like, hug him. Give him a compliment.
Yeah,
something.
you cold bitch.
but she's like, it's a fantastic nog, but you're standing here in my kitchen and you could barely even function this morning, and you're making me drinks and dinner. I mean, let's not even mention the snowman part. I'm like, no, that's the part that you start
That's
with
the
first.
part you
You're
start
losing your
with,
mind,
yeah.
lady. Check yourself into an institution.
It's the trying to make it realistic and us tracking her realism that almost makes it feel non-realistic because no one it's doing the opposite job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, when was the last time someone made you dinner? She goes, Isaac at the diner. He makes me dinner almost every night. I'm a woman. I don't understand how to do things for myself. And I can't even remember the last time I cooked for myself.
Can't even remember.
You need to check into a nervous hospital
Now-
for a while, honey. You need some work.
This is the actual line. I just want to write it. So he says, Can I ask you? Earlier today, I was checking the house for vampires. ...
Yep.
What's cancer?
And it's the fact that they're together. But
The fact that they're
I went
together.
downstairs.
what made
What's
me
cancer?
die laughing. I laugh out loud a lot, but I laughed and I had to put this down and I kept laughing.
I had to pause it and just laugh for like 5, and then I watched it like 5 times.
Sick man.
So when I was checking the house earlier tonight, when I was downstairs checking the house for vampires, what's cancer?
Also, I love that he can read so well too. Like, what the
Right.
hell? So she's like, oh, it's a sickness. It's a not nice thing that happens to some people. Well, could you be more specific? Is it like when you refuse to let them take their penis out of their pants when they were supposed to 5 minutes ago? Because that's an unpleasant thing.
Do you notice
cancer is some unpleasant thing?
Do you notice that she's talking to him like he's a 3-year-old?
Yeah.
She's like,
I'm glad
it's
you
a
brought
not
this up.
nice thing that happens to some people.
I was going to say the same thing. And I'm like, I don't understand how they are going to turn this into a romance.
Don't worry.
If she's talking to him like a child, like,
And it really
doesn't
affects,
work.
because I think we haven't talked about this yet, but this is, I think, the scene to do it. They have horrible chemistry.
I agree. He's pretty charming. They have almost little to no chemistry together.
None.
Yeah.
Because he's acting like a 5-year-old. Like that's his
I
his
think that's
character
one of the
that he
problems.
was just born.
But
And I get why you would do that, because you did just come to life, but it takes any kind of romance off the table because it's creepy. You know, It's like
Exactly.
people who are obsessed with pretending they're babies,
And
which is a real thing.
And I
It's
think
creepy.
that like just because he came to life, they should have made him like come to life and be like this hot, suave guy who's got like full personality in this sleepy town. And he's just like, and she's just like, whoa, you're a creep or whatever. But then she realizes that he actually has a heart, instead of like, oh, he has a heart. And now I realize I could do some workarounds and find this person sexually attractive, even though he's sort of like a child.
possibly.
I've got arms.
At the very
I've
least,
got
a reach
arms.
around.
Or at least let her be in love, like, because I know this, because like I said, after I got high and watched George of the Jungle, Leslie Mann does a good job of like falling in love with the childlike thing of George. And that they needed her to like maybe position her that she has grown up and closed her heart and she's way more, has to be adult about everything. And he makes her, this is just.
Do you remember how hot Brendan Fraser was in that movie? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
for
he
real.
is in a loincloth the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Those were the days, eh?
His nose is perfect.
So she's like, well, you know, I'm glad it happened fast because he didn't have to suffer. You know, innocent cancer. It's barely anything. Doesn't it went quick. I mean, I'm like, what do you just have him run over by a truck? Please do not make cancer sound like it's nothing. And
Yeah, I was honestly.
I don't know, it's weird. Anybody, I
As
think if
someone
you've
that's
ever
taking
been
care of their
through-
father, taking
Yes.
care of my father through cancer. I don't know what I was more offended by, the notes in Comic Sans or this explanation.
Yeah, it's
they should,
weird.
I think it should have just been like we got into an accident or he died of like hypothermia, so that way it could all be tied together a little.
Yeah, and I'm
Yes!
not offended he died of cancer. It's just how they're dealing with it. Like that's not something we discuss. So it's just weird. So then, and it's also getting weird with consent when you're like talking to a 5-year-old. So
Yes.
this movie
Also,
at this
I have
point,
to
this
say-
movie's creeping me out, and I'm like, have I just been living in the modern world too much, where I'm offended at every little thing? Because I'm not
Yes.
this kind of person.
Yes,
but
and yes.
I am like,
Yeah.
oh,
Also, I feel like this is you know what I also don't like about this is that like I hate when movies do like a surprise cancer thing, because I also feel like there are people who have cancer who probably turn this on as like an escape
To get away.
and
Yeah.
then this sort of just gets dropped in there, and that's got to be like that's just sort of like not a nice thing, you know.
Cancer is the easiest thing. Though you can just say it and people go, "Oh, cancer." Yeah, cancer.
But they could have just said like he died of like anything.
Yeah.
But, like I don't know. I just feel like cancer is actually just that's actually a little too scary versus like
it's very heavy.
by a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
well, they're gonna love listening to this.
I was checking the house for vampires. What's cancer?
What's cancer?
I went downstairs. What's cancer, by the way?
So
Well, and he did home repairs, so that's why her house looks like shit, because he did it all. So
that's what we find
Sure.
out. So she's been like in a state of
he got
like,
step cancer. It's the kind of cancer you get when you're about to repair a step.
Honeydew cancer when you don't want to work in your house.
That's so bad.
Her life is on
Faked his death
because she hasn't moved forward, and I think we all know this guy's gonna help. So he starts talking about how he tried making pizza, and it was hot, and that was scary.
He couldn't do the oven. That scared him.
because I don't like the oven.
Why are you
No, I don't
making
like
hot
the oven.
food? Why is Jack Frost not watching? It's like, oh, I just watched a Ninja Creamy commercial, and now I just made 31 flavors of ice cream. Like
He should make. He literally should make ice cream for her for dinner. Yeah. He should make granitas,
snow cone.
Yeah, all things that are cold.
This also, I want a child to come up and pee their name into him at some point. We're just wasting a whole character.
That's what a Gamora is right there. That's what a Gamora is. Piss play.
Yeah. When you get a piss snow angel made on you.
That's a Gamora. There we go.
So now they're watching TV because that's all that they can do together. So there's no meet cute, and they spend their entire romance watching.
They're already bored.
I mean, this is the most realistic part of it to me.
So they're watching something about Hawaii, and he's like, "Whoa, let's go!" She's like, "To Hawaii?" He's like, "Yeah."
It's so hot. You can't do that. I know we had a magical moment where we reached for the pizza cutter, and you have feelings for me, but maybe I'm kind of worried you're going to melt now. I don't know. Why does she care?
This idea that now she's starting to believe he may have some in her mind. I think maybe he does have some like problem where he cannot be in a warm climate. Like she's really doing some rationalizing.
Well, but also she's just doing the whole, well, people don't do that because she's like, well, here's the thing. People who just met don't go on vacation together. Live your fucking life. Like, who raised you? This is not how to live your life. Go on vacation with someone you don't know. Why not?
Literally, people do that all the time. And on top of that, like this woman, I am very concerned for her because, again, she has this childlike person who's claiming to have been a snowman. She doesn't really believe it. He's already like in trouble with the law. And yet when their fingers touch while reaching for the pizza cutter together, she's kind of like, gets kind of horned up in that moment. I'm like, really, lady? You're getting horned up by this strange infantile person in your house right now?
Yeah, may or may not have the brain of a 3-year-old.
It's weird. There's a lot of issues in this. There's a lot of creep factor issues in this. So then she's like, thanks, Kathy. And she's like, I want to keep you safe, but you'll get there fast. You're a fast learner. And he's like, thanks, but he's moping. And so they go sit on the couch and she hugs him. Or no, he hugs her and she's like, sorry, I'm just not
I'm not your hugger.
For Christ's sake, just leave Kathy. Go find someone else. Go be a snowman again and let someone else put a goddamn scarf on because you really got some unlucky luck there.
He really God, it's really a shame that Lauren Holly was not the one given that scarf because she would have had a field day with this
Lauren
guy.
Holly would be riding him like
it would just be like 90 minutes of her fucking this guy.
She would be a fucking Mrs. Robinson with Benjamin. And that leg would be up, and she'd be like, "I'm going to teach you the ways of the world." And it starts.
And then she would have to go to the crazy doctor because her vagina has hypothermia. And then the doctor then can fuck the snow. It works for everybody.
Just snowman pass around.
Person in town. You got the latest person.
I have a good movie. Let's bring Frosty the Snowman to life, make him fuckable, and then pair him with the most boring person that was ever born in Hope Springs.
That is so true. Her personality is repellent. It is. Why does everyone like her?
Because she has food. That's why I always carry candy. You can always make a friend.
Yes, exactly.
So she basically says,
that sounded weird, right?
Yeah, I did.
By the way,
I carry candy because I'm a binge eater.
By the way, also, I want to say this is also hilarious to me is that she's like, okay, well, after this hug, she doesn't like being hugged because she's cold. Guys, that's the theme. Yeah. And so she's like, okay, well, good night. And he's like, well, what do I do tomorrow? And she's like, just watch TV, just whatever, just stay in the house and lay low. That should be the end of the scene. But then he's like, okay. And she goes, all right. Bye. What screenwriting 101
It was so weird.
The first thing they teach you is you don't have to say goodbye in your scenes.
No, that is.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
But he also is like, don't take the dishes. I'll do the dishes because he's like the perfect man. And so now you know how to do dishes. Was that on TV too? And why is she going to bed? If a man came to my house, cooked me pizza, and said, I'm going to do the dishes, I don't care what happened to my vagina. I'd be fucking that man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
And he has abs.
Also, she still doesn't know if she can really trust him. This is still someone who may be a drifter who might steal from her.
Yeah.
It's all ridiculous.
But I mean,
Well-
honestly, what is he going to take? You know,
What is it going to take?
the
And
working step.
I'm going to push back a little bit, Poodle, because you like a little bit of danger with your men.
True, but I don't trust them. They have to go to the locked closet after we're done.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
So he
Hide my valuables.
Yeah.
She goes to sleep.
Pass this metal detector on your way out, please.
She goes to sleep, and he stays up watching TV and starts watching a DIY channel where he learns about how to fix a roof and things like that.
Does
So
he
now
need
it's the
to
next
sleep?
day.
That's the thing.
I don't
'cause-
think so.
Yeah. Again,
Oh,
a lot of
he doesn't sleep?
I was asking.
We never saw him sleep in this movie.
That's so weird because they even opened the door. They even opened the door when he asked what a vampire is. So
Apparently, he has a digestive system.
Apparently, he can eat, but only some food.
wow.
There's so many questions. I just don't feel like they built out this world properly. So Jack is watching TV the next day, and I'm sorry, no, he watched TV. So now it's the next day. He just watched this home improvement stuff. So now he's out on the roof, shirtless again, and he is fixing the roof, and because he's excited to do things. And a car comes trundling down the street, and we see a shock of blonde hair, and we're thinking, who is this now? And it's Jane Miller. And all of a sudden, it turns out this is Lauren Holly. Lauren Holly is driving, and she looks out her
With these
window.
glasses.
She's got these glasses, and she sees a shirtless stud on a roof, and she's like, "Thank you, God.
Thank you.
Christmas comes early."
Literally crashes her car.
She literally stops, backs up her car, crashes our car. Superman slides down the ladder and
That
comes
was
up to her.
unbelievable. This town is so undersexed. I don't know what's going on.
I gotta say, I'm gonna say something, and y'all are either going to agree or have a very visceral reaction to this. There's this close up on his abs, and his abs are on par to me to Brad Pitt's abs in Fight Club.
Wow.
No, they
were serious abs. Yeah,
They were okay.
serious abs.
They were serious.
I think it also why he's so skinny is someone who like him. I think he probably did it like naturally, and that's what it looks like when you get so buff. Like some people don't bulk up, and
Not familiar.
He had cum gutters though.
He did.
Look at Ronnie's face.
Get everything.
You've never heard of cum
I mean,
gutters?
that's called my belly button. I don't know what you're even talking
Or
about.
a peen ravine?
It's where the cum just drains.
Oh, you are so disgusting.
It's like the bottom of a pinball machine.
Well, thank you for bringing it to that at least, Ben. Jesus Christ, you
A
two.
pinball machine that you want to fuck. So it's the next day. So yeah, I'm sorry. So she's all like, she's crashed her car, and he's like, "Are you all right?" She's like, "Oh, I think I'll be fine." She's like, she's so excited. She can't wait to tell all the ladies because she has.
He's like, "You want me to push you from behind?" She's like, "Fuck yeah!"
Back
dude."
at the
He's
brothel.
She's like, oh, yes. Oh, my God. Yes.
I was like, was she the one unpeeling her candy slowly at the movie theater?
Yes.
Yes. And
she gets
"How
off.
are you at electricity?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm great." And she said, "I should have you work for me sometime." And he's like, "I'm going to get my shirt.
Please don't.
Please do." I feel like I'm sad to admit this, but in the next scene where we see all these women sitting here,
Horny old ladies. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you all a question, and I'd like to hear everybody's answer. Where did the costume department get these women's outfits?
Delia's.
Filene's basement.
I loved this group of women, and I felt like we deserved more of them in the movie.
Yeah, it's because suddenly we were in Boca Raton or Palm Springs, like the outfits.
I don't know why these women were over there.
Because she's like, I got a
them.
hot guy, guys.
She said,
Come
"I got
over
a
and look
hot
at the hot guy. They're not gay,
Like a book
women,
club or something.
gay guys, like we were talking about earlier. We're so used to people who make an effort around us that we can just see penis or abs or whatever whenever we want to. Really,
I had a
Oh,
guy who mounted my curtains who was really hot, and I told my neighbor, and she came up and we hung out.
hell yeah, I've done that too.
Yes.
Yeah, never mind.
Wait. You just invited this person that just did work for you, and they just stood around?
No. He was doing work and putting up my curtains and all this. And then I told my neighbor, I was like, he's really hot. I was like, you should come up. She's like, okay.
I see. Just to ogle him.
Yes.
Yeah, watch him while he does it. I
Ronnie,
did that with a neighbor when a guy from Glee, he was like, I was in Glee, and he came over and put up a ceiling fan a long time ago. And I called my friend over because he was really hot.
Wait, was it Cord Overstreet?
No, it was. I didn't know who it was, and I watched
Corey
Glee,
Monteith.
so he was probably like very low on the Glee
Look,
totem pole.
Ronnie, as someone who has a lot of construction in your house, I'm always willing to come over. Just invite me if they're hot.
Just to
Well,
ogle.
unfortunately, I didn't cast this at a central casting. You know, this was not cast by me. Thank God, I would never get anything done.
So we're at the women have all gathered just to stare at this hot guy because it's either the hot guy or it's like there's really no one left in the
No, there's no. We've seen everybody in the
no
town.
one left to stare at in this town. Okay, so then he's like, okay, well, ladies, he turns on the light. They all applaud, and he's like, is there anything else I can do for you? And Sheila is like, well, you know what? My son Brandon is the principal at the middle school, and they just lost their maintenance staff in a horrific accident with the town bridge. You just don't even want to see that.
Okay, I was thrown by that. I was like, what happened?
The entire maintenance staff, well, they went on strike because they were not being paid fair wages. So anyway, I don't want to get political. Will you do the work instead? Could you be a scab for us?
Please.
Yeah, it was basically that. And then
How did they lose their entire maintenance staff? Like, what
It
happened?
is-
Was
it is
there other
strange.
snowmen?
I think what this movie really needed like a snow-nado. It needed to begin with like a really bad snowstorm. So then it would explain some of this like devastation. And the snowstorm, there was just a magical snowman there. That would have
there
made
should have
way
been
more
some
sense.
horrific accidents that way.
Yes.
The reason why the maintenance staff and why the husband are no longer with us is because there was some terrible squall of some
no,
sort.
it's just the snow sculpture festival. That's it.
Yeah, maybe they got hypothermia during trying to make their snow sculptures. Like maybe it's a really dangerous competition that only the best get through, you know? So he's like, well, I got to go back to Kathy's and finish up though. And they're like, oh, she's lucky to have
Got to
you.
go back
It's
to Kathy's, huh?
Yeah, he's like, well, actually, I'm the lucky one. God, I love people who refuse to smile. Bye, guys.
And he's like, can someone give me a ride to the diner? And they all are like me. So
They
like,
take their ladies
Kathy's-
convertible.
Yeah, they show up. I imagine the car just like bouncing. That's what I would love. Like Snoop Dogg's.
I really wish they were playing ladies from the 80s on this car radio. That would have been
a
just
good crossover.
yes.
So he shows up at the cafe, and Kathy's like, oh my God, what are you doing here? He's like, well, I was at home, but then Jane crashed her car, and then she needed a light installed. And Kathy's like, why was Jane driving? She got a DUI 2 months ago. Her license is suspended.
And then, of course, y'all. So he's drinking the water, putting it down his shirt. Do you notice that this happens? He gets hot, but none of it ever really escalates. Like it all kind of stays the same. Like
We also
I'm kinda hot.
never really see him sweat until the end when he dies.
Right.
Well, it also doesn't make sense that the only place that the heater is working is the jail because he's in heated places the
Yes!
entire time.
I
And
think
he's
No,
he
but he
fine.
always has to leave them. He always has to leave the heat.
Kathy's Cafe is hot.
I have to
Yeah,
say,
like
I actually
Kathy's
found him to
Cafe,
be
they have
quite
a full
annoying.
oven in there, and he was just cooking in a hot kitchen. So
No, they had fans. They had fans on it.
It was annoying,
Like,
and
it's a little hot in here. Can you turn the temperature down? It's a little hot. It's like you know what? How about you just learn to deal? You're not going to melt all at once. Okay.
This
I
would have
think
been
your toes will go
solved.
first. Your wiener will be fine.
This would have been solved in a montage if we had seen him get a cold plunge. That's all he needed.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's that. And I think, I want to say probably some script person said, yeah, we need to kind of keep remembering that he's a snowman.
Don't let
And
them
he
forget
needs
he's
to-
a snowman.
He needs
What about some
to.
ice packs? He could have had some ice packs. He could have pretended he got an injury, stuff like that.
And why doesn't he have a pipe?
Exactly. A corncob pipe.
hat?
Yeah. Again, when he goes to prom, I thought, oh, great. They're going to put him in a top hat because he's
Oh
going
my
to
God.
prom.
That's a good idea.
The only time we saw that top hat, by the way, is the very beginning when it was blowing around.
That's correct.
And then it
That's
was smashed.
God.
Like we're smashing the Frosty fairy tale.
Okay. I am going to say this.
I love that
though.
3 hours in, we're still like, this is so unbelievable.
It's so unbelievable. I will say though, because Craig Robinson comes back up. I laughed pretty hard at this ice eating contest. That was very funny to me when he comes in. when
Again,
the sheriff comes in.
I think this was 100% improv. I
No, I
don't
do
think
too.
this was.
No, Yeah, so they're sitting there, and he's like, because he sees him in the window, and he's like, "Aha, a new person." So he's like, "So, Kathy, can you introduce us to your new friend?" So they sit down, and they're sort of having this tense interaction
With Shaft music still playing.
by the way,
It's true.
and what I also loved was this the moment where Kathy says, "Okay, follow my lead."
Yes.
Did you say this?
Yes.
Because she goes, "Okay, follow my lead. Hello there, officer. I'll be right back." And then she just leaves.
She
I was like,
leaves.
There was no lead. You didn't let him.
No.
You didn't give him anything.
She hung him out to dry. Yeah.
So, and the sheriff is asking Hunter, or I'm sorry, the sheriff is asking Jack question, and Jack, they bring him a cup of ice like he wanted, and the sheriff's like, why do you not have any beverages? And apparently that's a very like tip 101 of crime solving. If they're not drinking beverages, then they must be
Something's wrong.
And so he says, because I eat ice, and Craig Robinson's like, I eat ice. And then they do this contest, which is stupid and funny. It doesn't
I
make
felt
any
like it was
sense.
a little unsanitary. They were really just like putting their fingers right in that ice.
They
and
were.
just kept on eating.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys, you know,
Yeah.
it's a little dirty.
Yeah.
A little dirty what's happening here. I didn't appreciate that, but it was very funny because they're like stuffing ice in their mouth. And you can see that Craig Robinson is like trying not to crack up. Like you can see the smile coming through his mouth a little bit, and it was great.
He tries to be rough about this, and he just has such a good time with it.
Yeah.
And that's
no, he really
why,
does.
yeah, and that's kind of why the whole movie, that's why it kind of, not that it falls flat, but just the concept of the stakes raising doesn't really make sense the whole way, the whole term through.
Well, it
There
also
are no
doesn't make
stakes in
sense.
the first
It also
place.
doesn't make sense that not now. First of all, I'm worried about the medical care in this town of Hope Springs. But
Yeah.
secondly,
No one looks particularly healthy. I'll tell you that.
no one looks healthy.
Mortimer
But-
is very sallow.
Yes. Secondly, what the fuck kind of school system that they hire a man with no ID, no birth certificate,
No
Social
fingerprints.
security, and now he's gotten a job at the school for maintenance. This just sounds like a pedophile movie waiting to happen.
He got a job. He got a job working with children.
Children.
Oh,
Children.
Lord.
It's not right.
It's not right.
Sheriff Hunter is onto something. So then basically he leaves because Kathy's like, "Oh, we're late. We've got to go." So they walk out, but he's sweating everywhere. So now the Sheriff Hunter's like, "I don't know. Do nice guys sweat through their shirts?" While questioned by the cops, Ed's like, "Well, if they have a gland condition, yes."
So
I don't think
Kathy's
you
like,
realize.
you are in so much trouble. Do you remember the guy I told you about? That's him. You don't want to be on his bad side. He's terrifying. Streaking through the plaza, taking clothes. He just wants to take the first person who ever did that and put them in Guantanamo Bay. And it's like, what?
Well, maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe I should be in Guantanamo Bay. I did steal some galoshes and broke a window. She's like, "You can't handle jail. You can't handle 10 minutes in a lukewarm diner, you idiot. You handsome idiot. Take me now."
Take me.
Should have been better. But he does say, "I got a job doing maintenance at the middle school." And he's like,
Yep.
"I want to help people for a living like you do." That's not what she does for a living.
She does not do that for a living.
I mean,
Well, they do introduce casual stakes here where he's like, "Wait, are you saying I would melt in the jail?" So now
Yeah.
we know it's not just
Yeah.
jail, it's a death sentence.
dun, 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 dun. You'll also package cheese for Whole Foods if that makes you feel any better.
Hey, so he says he puts his snowfoot down and says, "I am going to school tomorrow, like it or not."
This is an issue.
This is an issue, but
Because
I
she
want to
says don't go to school. Don't go to school because
Yeah, she's like,
you're
no.
supposed to lay low.
lay low. And so they go home and they're fighting, and he goes to his basement room, and then she sees that he put up all the Christmas stuff. And I want to ask y'all, what the fuck is this Jennifer Coolidge clip from of her being Glinda, the Good Witch of the North?
Single All the Way. I looked it up.
That's the gay one.
Coolidge. I said Jennifer Coolidge Christmas movie. I did some searching. Single All the Way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so that's when I realized the clip earlier was from
Lindsay Lohan.
was Lindsay Lohan. I was like, oh, I see. They're using.
Oh, I actually
At this
watched
point-
that movie. It's with Michael Urie and Luke McFarlane.
And you forgot about it.
Yeah. mhm.
Because at this point, I had now realized that Lauren Holly was not a high school friend, because she said, I've known this girl since she was born. I was like, okay, so she's not the high school friend. I still really thought, I'm not even joking. So that's when I realized this one all came together.
He has fixed the leak.
This is their big fight that they're having right now, because she's like, you will not get a job. You're going to stay here and watch TV. And he's like, no, I want to help. So, but then she sees the Christmas decorations that he put up without her permission, I'd like to add.
Thank
you.
True.
He's like, look, I don't know what's happening any more than you do, Kathy. I could wake up tomorrow and be a puddle. So I just want to make the most of it with the time that I have here.
It does feel, and I'm thinking, existentially, you're kind of understanding who you are much better than anyone else in this town can. But
Right,
you
'cause
also
we
don't know.
realize it's how temporary it is, guys. Life's fleeting.
You
okay?
don't know the
You know.
rules. He doesn't know the rules either. So
Yeah.
it's like,
He does, though. He knows he's dead soon. He knows he's going to sweat to death soon. I mean, I know that feeling. That's for sure. You ever seen me do a live show?
Yes.
oh my God, in our live shows, I'm sweating. Oh God. Our air conditioning went out in Columbus one time when it was 105, and they were
Columbus.
yeah, it was not good.
Oh,
Just smelled like stale vodka on stage.
I had to
Oh,
throw away
okay.
some of the costumes from that show. It was not good.
Yeah, that's really not good. Oh yeah, you guys are in like full makeup too. Okay, so he's like, Kathy, I don't know what's happening to me. And so they have this like deep moment, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna drop you off, and you don't leave the school, and you don't tell anyone you're a snowman, and you certainly don't tell anyone you've got a dick and you're ready to use it. Well, you
Yeah.
can tell me that when I pick you up, but nobody else.
All right, we're going to do a movie called Hot Frosty, where the snowman becomes the sexiest man you've ever met, and we're going to put him into a middle school.
Exactly. And there's no background check, no nothing. He's just there around the kids every day.
Just there.
Yeah,
And so now we
he's
have
helping the theater
montage.
kids build sets, which I really like. So they know their target audience. That's
They
for
do.
sure.
They do. They do.
Yeah, I think this is where we get our rocking around the Christmas tree, or whatever.
We get what's our first montage?
It was a
truly.
montage. No, it wasn't rocking around the Christmas tree, but it was like
I didn't know what music was this the
maybe it wasn't this one, but it was a montage.
No,
It was a
yeah,
montage.
Pretty Woman is when they go dressing,
Yes.
clothes shopping. Yeah.
So he's helping the school, because the toilets have been backed up for so many days now. They finally
So
have a
many
maintenance
days.
person.
Finally.
They apparently there was no one in town willing to take this job. So
Well, maybe that's why no one's nice to Kathy, because she lost her husband, but apparently like 20 people just died in a horrible fire or something, and they're just like, well, we just found a new stranger. Yeah, we just found a new stranger to come along and do everything. We love him. Let's just not talk about all the dead people in town.
So what?
Okay?
There's not
Keep
a
it
bridge
moving.
anymore.
So she
Who
goes to
needs a
pick him up
bridge?
from the school.
So it led to the cancer hospital. Who needs it?
Who needs it?
The cancer. That was the only way to get to the cancer hospital.
Don't worry, we've got Dr. Dottie in town. She'll help. She's like, when did I tell everyone it's an honorary doctorate? So
Oh no,
So,
cancer
uh,
hospital.
So Kathy goes to pick up Jack from the school, and he's waving goodbye to everyone. He's like, bye, bye, bye. And Kathy's like, sure you don't want to say goodbye to her cousin or her cousin's cousins? I was like, okay, listen.
You're so miserable.
What a bitch.
Yeah, she's like, oh God, it's just so weird. I'm even here. Like,
You know
what
what?
are you looking down on kids for? You make chocolate chip pancakes one day a week for them.
And honestly, if they wanted her to be bitchy, write it in. Like, make her a cold bitch. And everybody knows she's cold.
But everyone in
that's
town
the
loves
Christmas
her.
movie trope, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
the girl's a snotty daddy's girl. She's going to ruin this town's company
comes from the
just for her
city.
to make her dad some money, and she's
Some
from
money.
the city, yeah. And she's
And she
just
has
going to be a
she has
B word until she
career.
finds out what
Yeah.
love is.
Love it.
Yeah.
She doesn't really change at all.
Yeah.
No, she's like, I mean, everything about this. I mean, maybe I should run from the hills because I mean, look, he's nice, he's good looking. He's like, wait, you
He
think
thinks
I'm
he's a
good-looking?
snowman.
She goes, of course, everyone in town loves you. He goes, the whole town loves me? Wow, but they haven't even known me for that long. And you said it takes a really long time to fall in love. So if the whole town loves me and you're in the town, does that mean you're in love with me? She's like, okay, you know what? Relax.
Relax.
Yeah, I was just trying to have an existential crisis
Just
here.
having
and
a-
kind of
So do you
all
think it
that
is
too.
like vampirism where somebody brings you to life and then you're tied to them forever? Because like look around, like there are
Oh.
like literally so many people that he could be with that are, there's so many fish in the sea.
Yeah.
But
She
whoever
says-
gives you the first accessory, you're tied to them for life.
That's Scar.
Scar.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King. It's always automatic with Ashley Auto.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offit. Dana C. Dana Do.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey. You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth. Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Rigging the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets a name from us, it's Lindsay D. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Always killing it, it's Lola Alkalani.
We love her on the rocks, it's Melissa Cox. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
Have a heck of a time with Rebecca.
The highest tally, it's Sarah McNally.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
She's a whiz, it's Liz Sarthy.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters. She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. Ring that bell for Rachel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.